Hi, I'm Miss Lee, and I'm here to bring you Discovery Days at home while the Longmont Museum is closed. We're creating crafts together that can be made from items found around your home. And today, with Easter coming up, I thought we could make a cute little fuzzy-faced bunny. So, what you'll need for that is a paper plate. I only have these small ones at my house. If you have a big one and you have lots of cotton balls, make a big bunny. But if not, then small bunny's just as cute. So I've got a paper plate. You've got to have some cotton balls. And of course, glue to stick it on. I might use some markers. Maybe a little bit. Definitely need a pencil. And a pair of scissors. And then I'm also going to use some colored paper. For this, I'm using white, pink, and black. I won't need all of this paper, so like the black I'm just going to use for the eyes, So you may want to cut off like a little corner of something to use for your eyes and then save the rest of the page for some other day. The white and the pink paper I'll be using to make the ears for the bunny. So it depends on how big your plate is. Since my plate's small, I'll probably only use like half a sheet of each. All right, that being said, let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make some ears. And the reason I'm making the ears first is first of all, because like the ears and the bunny are like the cutest part, I think. But we really, before I glue all this stuff on the front, I want to have the ears connected on the back of the plate. And that way it's just easier and doesn't like flop off when I flip it over. So here we go, down to the work surface. There we go. All right. I'm going to start by cutting these down a little bit, cutting them in half, because I only need half a page. And, I don't have a ton of paper at home, and I don't believe in wasting paper if I can help it. It doesn't seem like there's any reason to do that. So I've just folded mine in half, like a book. And I'm going to cut on this folded line. Whenever I would have crafts made ready for y'all who would come to Discovery Days, the museum, I typically would pre-cut all the paper to the size that I thought was appropriate for whatever we were doing. So if I thought we would use, half a sheet, then I would cut it down to that size for you guys. You know what? Now that I look at it, I think I probably only need a quarter of a sheet for this pink. So I'm going to save the other part for later, some other day. So I've got my ears here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw some big ovals. So they don't have to be perfect, but you want to be able to draw two. So here's my trick for that. If you want to be able to draw two of something on a page, well, I'm just going to fold it in half so I know I can't go any further than the folded line. So I fold it here. Did you see how I lined up this edge with my folded edge? Try to make them touch each other. If I go two sideways, it won't be half. It'll be all, diagonal and mixed up. So I'm trying to get them lined up. And then I press it flat with my finger while I hold it with the other hands. Now, the purpose, of course, is to get that line to show me that I want to do one ear on this side of the fold and one ear on this side. That way I'm not making, you probably could make one that's like a really big ear and the other one's really short. That's up to you. For me, I'm going to try and make them about the same size. And they don't have to be perfect. That's okay. So we're going to cut these out. And if you remember the last time I talked about cutting something, I said I like to cut things apart first. So I'm not trying to hold a big piece of paper. That way I can just cut off like the extra bits around the edges here. So that's what I did. And then let's remember how we hold the scissors, right? It's kind of like a handshake in that we're almost giving our scissors a handshake. We've got our thumb in the little hole, and we've got our other fingers in the bigger hole. And every time I'm cutting away from my body. So I keep the metal part of the scissors pointed away from me, and I line it up on the line and squeeze and open and move forward in the little slot that I made. And then I line it up and squeeze and move forward. And then line it up, squeeze, move forward, line it up, squeeze. Oh, now I have to turn my hand a little bit. Oh, that's going to be a really big turn. I don't want to have to, go kind of backwards like this. So I'm just going to cut that part off. I don't need it. I can save it for later if I wanted to make whiskers or something. So now I start again. And you see how I kind of let the paper turn in my hand here? This hand without the scissors is turning the paper by moving my fingers. And the hand with the scissors just lines up and stays on the line the best I can. All right, let's do another one. If you wanted to, now, one of the things you could do is you can lay 2 pieces of paper on top of each other, and then whatever you cut on both pieces will be exactly the same. I think that works for some people if you feel comfortable kind of holding 2 pieces together and not letting them slide around. So up to you on that. Now I want to have some pink inside the ear here. So I'm going to do the same thing, but this time I will show you how to cut 2 things at the same time so they match. So I'm folding it again. Now I folded this long ways. The reason I did it long ways, not the short side here, but the long fold is because look at this shape. They match. They're the same. They're both long. So I wanted to have a long piece for the pink inner part of the ear. Now, again, I'm just going to draw an oval. And an oval is like a stretched out circle. So now I'm not going to open this. This time I'm just going to cut it while it's folded closed. All right. And when I do that, I'll be cutting both the top and the bottom piece at the same time. So it should be identical. They should be the exact same shape. I think this is a really fun way to save time when you're cutting lots of things the same. You see? This part here is the leftover, right? And then there's the 2 that came out of it. And they're both the same. All right, now I've got my ears. They're pretty cute. I'm going to glue the little pink part into my ears. They're not exactly the same. I'm okay with that. All right, let's get our glue. Do you remember how to use the glue? All right, well, the first thing we do is we take the nozzle. Turn it so you can see a little bit better. We're going to take the nozzle and twist it open, right? Twist. I can tell it's open because there's this little gap between the orange part and the white part of the cap here. Now, I want to put glue on the back of this whole piece of pink to stick here, but I don't want it to be a big blob. If I glue a big blob here, then only part of it will be stuck, and I really want to stick all of this pink down flat, which means I need to put a little bit of glue all over it. So again, I'm going to hold my glue like I'm pointing down. It's kind of like holding a pencil, and I've got my 3 fingers on this side, I guess 4, pinky counts, and I've got my thumb on the other side, and I'm just going to kind of squeeze, and I'm kind of squeezing and dotting as I go along the edge here. Squeeze, dot, squeeze, dot, squeeze, dot. And now into the middle. Can you see? So that covers a good portion of it. And what I can do now is I can kind of try to pick it up and set it where I want it. Now it's important that you touch all of it and like take your finger and hold one end and then just kind of spread it around a little bit so it's all sticking there. Whenever I get glue on my fingers, you know what I do? Well, I'm not going to worry about it, but I just kind of rub them together like this because I got a little bit of glue on my fingers. And it'll rub off the little extra bits of glue. Now it's all stuck. All right, let's do another one. So I'll turn it so you can see maybe a little better this time. So I've got my regular glue hold and I'm just kind of squeezing and bouncing it like a little dot all the way down the line. If you wanted to, you could just draw these lines, but I think dotting is fun. That's plenty of glue. All right. All right, remember we're going to hold one end and use our finger to kind of press it all the way down. I like to rub it a little bit to make sure all the glue is sticking. Okay, now I've got the 2 ears. Oh, they're cute. All right, so now this is the time to decide whether you want to put the cotton balls on the front side of the plate, the top side where you would normally like put food, or the back side. The main difference is if you put it on the back side, you see how it's kind of rounded? It's going to make it more like a 3D rounded shape. I kind of like that idea, so I'm going to do it that way. But you can do it this way too. It's really up to you. If you're the kind of person who likes to squeeze a lot of glue, probably go with this side because it'll contain all that glue better. And if you're the kind of person who likes to dot some glue, then put on a cotton ball and dot some more, then another cotton ball, then maybe this side, the round back side is the side for you. I'm more of a dot kind of person. So that's what I'm going to do. But before I do any of that, I got to get these ears on. So I'm going to glue the ears on the side that I'm not going to put the cotton balls. And if you have some tape at home, then it does help. Did you see how big I made those glue dots? It's because I've got like a heavy thing. This paper is kind of heavy and I really want it to have enough glue to stick. But if you give it too much glue, it might just go everywhere and be a problem. So I'm sticking them on and you can see I'm kind of sticking them like the letter V for very cute. V. Okay. They're pretty stuck. It's almost a bunny already. Oh, he's so cute. All right, let's put on some cotton balls. So the last time I used cotton balls, I had bought these cotton balls at Walgreens and they are just like the biggest. Like they're just so fluffy. And I don't know. I may just kind of make some smaller ones. I think I like them that way better. So it's up to you on if you want to use the big ones or the small ones. Either way, it's your bunny. Get this all rolled up here. Oh, maybe this will be a really tiny part. Some little ones. Maybe I'll have a variety. Do you know what the word variety means? I bet some of you do. The word variety means an assortment of different kinds of things. So like some that are small, some that are large, some that are medium, that kind of thing. Or a variety of colors. That would be like instead of everything's all pink, There's some pink, some blue, some purple, some green, or a variety of ice cream flavors. I think it's the best example because they're all ice cream. They're just different kinds. So like, doesn't even have like a favorite ice cream flavor. I don't personally eat a lot of ice cream because it doesn't agree with my stomach, but I do like sorbet. It doesn't have any milk in it, so I can eat it more easily. And I think raspberry is my favorite. But other people like other flavors like cookies and cream, cookie dough. So that's variety. That's like different kinds of ice creams. They're all the same kind of thing, but they're still different from each other. So these are all cotton balls, but in a different variety of sizes and shapes. I'm going to start gluing. All right, so you can start wherever you want. I'm putting a few big glue dots around the edges here. You see how I squeeze dot dot, squeeze dot dot, squeeze dot dot. And I'm going to place my cotton balls on. You know what? I think I need more. Yesterday, an adorable little bunny hopped into my backyard. And you know what that bunny did? Just ate some grass, looking really cute. My cat could see it from where she was inside the house. She doesn't get to go outside, my cat. She's only indoor, and she's happy to be only indoor. We tried to let her out when we were, years ago when we first got her, and she just was not really an outdoor cat. I'm seeing that I'm going to need some more glue, so I've added some more dots. Anyway, so my cat saw through the window this bunny in the yard and was just like, oh, what is it? I wonder if she thought maybe it was another cat. I don't know. Maybe she knew. Maybe she knew exactly what it was. It was very cute though, watching it munch on some grass. So if you're not taking apart your cotton balls, this may actually take you less time to do. I kind of like to. There's something nice about being able to choose the size of the cotton ball that I'm putting on. Feels like I have more control over it. Like it's more of like my own creation. Time for the middle. And again, you see I'm just making some big glue dots. They're pretty big. Then maybe some in here. I think that all these dots I should be able to put some cotton balls on. So one of the things you can do with this, and we'll get to it in just a second, is if you have, do you know what I mean when I say like pom-poms? They're kind of like cotton balls, like they're not made of cotton really. But if you had pom-poms, they're like these little puff balls that you get at the craft store. And if you have some of those, that would make really cute like eyes and nose and things. Like I personally don't have any at my house, so I'm going to do a different thing. And I'm going to use the cotton ball as the eye, or as the nose, and I'm just going to use some markers to kind of dot the color. That one just came apart. You never know. Just, we just have to make do sometimes. Sometimes things don't turn out like we plan. That's okay. Mm-hmm. One of the things I think that's important to learn about when you are, this one doesn't want to come apart at all, it's just tearing to shreds, is how to adapt, to situations that you don't expect or that you didn't plan for. And what do I mean by adapt? Well, that word means that you can take whatever you're given and try to make it work the best way you can. And sometimes we have to do that. We think, oh, I'm going to paint it perfectly and it'll be great. And, I won't make any mistakes. But then, sometimes we make mistakes. We're human. Everyone makes mistakes. And it's okay. But what we can do is we can adapt. We can try to overcome our mistakes and see if we can make something good out of it. So that's where our creativity comes in. You want to see if you can make something that was a mistake look like maybe not so much of a mistake. Oh, look. He's so fluffy. Do you want to see? Oh, it's very cute. I think he's cute, but he definitely needs some eyes and a nose and whiskers. All right, so I have this little leftover scrap, which is just perfect because, I didn't plan that. It just happened that way because, I don't know, sometimes things do turn out. And I'm going to make a little bitty ball, and that's going to be this cute little rabbit's nose. But before I glue the nose on, before, I'm going to glue on some whiskers. Now, earlier I said you can make whiskers out of white if you want, and you, of course, can. Your scraps from earlier. But I plan on using this black paper because I think it'll show up better because there's contrast. It's different, like the white and the black are very different from each other, which means that the black shows up on the white surface. And the same for the white and the black. So like white on top of black shows up better than say like a darker color. And what I'm trying to say is anytime you have one color that's too similar to another and you put them on top of each other, you can't always tell them apart. So like if I put yellow whiskers on here, might be really cute, but they would be kind of hard to see because yellow is a light color. Here's an example. You see this pink? Not as easy to see as, say, this black. That's called contrast. It's very different from one another, so it shows up more strongly. Even like, let's see, these two different colors. They're so similar in the tone. Hard to see a difference. But say I have like this darker color. Now, green whiskers. I don't plan on making green whiskers. You can if you want. Like maybe it's green blades of grass that the rabbit's eating. I don't know. But you can decide if you want to. What I'm saying is if you choose a darker color on top of a lighter color, it'll show up better. It's true for painting too. Now, I definitely don't need all of this paper to make whiskers. That's way too much. So I'm just going to cut a little strip. Now, I'm not really measuring or anything. I'm just cutting some off, and then I'll have the rest of this paper later to use. Look, that was it. Just these two little bits. I'll cut them down. But now I still have this whole black paper left over. And I'm going to cut these like a couple places. I think I want 3 whiskers on both sides. So I'm just going to snip, snip. I've got 6 pieces. So I'm going to, wherever you want the nose, and I think I want my nose like right here and almost in the middle. I'm going to put, you guys are going to love this, a big blob of glue. You see how big it is? It's hard to see the white on the white, isn't it? White glue on white cotton balls? Well, I can see it here. So I'm going to stick my whisker in. And let's count. This is 2. So that was 1, 2. And they're stuck together. 3. Then on the other side, 4, 5, 6. Oh, that's cute. You know what? I think I can trim them a little bit and they'll be extra cute. Give them a little whisker trim. All right, I still have that big blob right there in the center. I'm going to add just a tiny bit more glue. And if you have pom-poms or little puff balls or something, you can use those for the nose. Well, I don't. You know, you could also cut a piece of paper, the pink paper, or you could use the black paper or whatever you like. But I'm going to use just this little cotton ball that I've squished, and I'm going to place it on top without trying to ruin everything I've just made. Now his whiskers stick out. So cute. All right. Do you think I'm going to color his nose pink? So maybe I'll just give him a little bit of color here. Doesn't have to be a lot. It's really, really dark pink. Maybe I want a lighter color of pink. Oh, that's better. I'm using my finger now because it's kind of like it was blobby and I wanted to spread the color around a little bit. It's kind of cute, but you know what? I don't really like the way it looks. I think instead I'm just going to cut off a little bit of my leftover pink and glue on top of the little nose bump that I created here. And what shape am I going to use? Well, rabbits kind of have triangular noses, but they're like upside down triangles. So if you want to, you can draw one. But I'm just going to kind of trim this down. But normally I say, go ahead and draw one. Oh, that's much better. See, sometimes we make mistakes and it's okay. Like, I don't really like the way this looks, so I'm going to fix it. Sometimes we have things in our mind and we're like, this is how it's going to look when I'm finished. But that's not the case on this one. All right. I'm going to stick it back all nice and clean again. And now I'm going to give him a little pink nose on top. Oh, I like that much better. So much better. Okay. The last thing our bunny needs right now is some eyes. Remember that black paper we have a whole bunch left? Well, we're just going to cut off a little corner. Just a little corner, see? Just that corner right there. And I can leave the rest for some other day. When I was teaching in school, I taught elementary art, pre-K through 5th. And when I taught in public school, I had what I called the scrap box. And the scrap box was just what it sounds like. It's all the leftover scrap paper from all the different things we had made. And what I'd like to do was I would have all the kids put their stuff in the scrap box. And, you know, I mean, like good-sized scraps, like not like this little bitty stuff, but like bigger stuff, you know? And that way, instead of cutting a whole new piece, we could just be responsible with our resources and pick what we had there. And it's also fun. It's like a treasure hunt. You're like digging through the paper bin, looking for like the perfect color and the size. And so if you make a lot of crafts at home, it might not hurt to have a scrap box at home. All right, so here we have our black paper, and I know it's going to be hard for you to see, but trust me, I'm drawing a circle, one circle, and I'm going to fold it in half. Do you remember what we did before? How we cut both pieces at the same time by folding it? Same idea. If you are going to have trouble cutting a circle, then you may want to ask for help. I cut 2 circles. Now I just want to show you that there's something else you can do if you're trying to cut a circle but it's too hard. So for this, I'm going to use some scrap paper that I've already used. So here's my, this is just for you if you want to learn how to cut a circle, but it's a little too hard for you. Okay, so here's my kind of blobby circle. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut off the edges like I'm cutting a square. You see how I just snip each time? Snip. Right? Little bunny. So now what I can do is I can trim the edges again. The corners I cut a little bit. It's starting to look more like a circle. And then each of those little pointy bits I can give little snips. So if you're still struggling to make a curved line, you can kind of make tiny little cuts along the edges until you feel like it's round enough for you. You just keep doing it until you cut off all the little edges. So it's not a perfect circle, but nothing really is unless you use a tool to do that, like a special tool. But for our purposes, it's pretty good. Okay, back to the eyes. We're going to glue those on. Up here? No, I know I'm silly. The eyes typically go right around this spot here, this spot here. Eyeball. Eyeball. Ooh, very cute. Now, if you really wanted to, you could make a mouth. I will say this. When I tried to use my marker on the cotton balls, it looked weird, and you might ruin it if you draw with markers on it. So maybe instead you take a piece of your scrap paper and cut it to make a little mouth. But for me, I think he's perfect just the way he is. Let's see. Do you want to see? Move my camera a little bit so you can see better. His little bunny face hopping through the forest. All right, everyone. I want to thank you so much for joining me for Longmont Museum's Discovery Days at Home. And I hope that you'll join us in person when the museum reopens. Thank you again. Be well.